and commitment therapy, ACT, and structured exercise program, ACT-EX, for overweight and obese young adults in a weight loss program during COVID-19 pandemics, a randomized controlled trial. So let's give a warm welcome to Ms. Patricia. Okay, so Ms. Patricia, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you, Hafiz, for the kind introduction, and thank you, Dr. Lee, for the sharing just now. All right, I have a few questions before I start. Have you ever struggled with weight gain during the COVID-19 lockdown, somewhat 2 years ago? All right. Have you ever feel the insecurity with body weight issue caused by the lockdown? If yes, this is my study exploring the efficacy of the acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, and structured exercise program, ATEX, for overweight and obese young adults in a weight loss program during COVID-19 pandemic, a randomized control trial. I am Patricia from FSR Sarawak. This study is part of my PhD work, and I have presented it last month in a conference. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the outline of my presentation. All right, for the introduction, Malaysia has been ranked as #1 in Asia with highest number of overweight and obesity. And this number has no clue of declining. That's a bad news. Even more, WHO has declared obesity as a global epidemic, and it is the 10th most common health problem in the world. Half of the Malaysian adults were overweight or obese, which means 1 out of 2 of us with the excess of body weight. This is not a good news because we are keep trying to find a solution. Being overweight or obese is associated with physical risks such as orthopedic injuries, cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease, and psychological risks. Psychological risk can be in the case of eating disorder with a low self-esteem, negative body image. That's a terrible one to be dealt with this excess of body weight. So who are university students? They are young adults who age 18 to mid-20s. So my friend, we are not university students, and we are not referred to this population. This population, they underwent significant changes from home to campus, university, from the school to more independent learning. They are out of campus, they are more towards themselves. They face various physical and psychological changes. So I've highlighted on the issue of obesity and overweight just now. This population also being in the categorized as overweight and obese in a report by Cik Wan Jasima in 2019, which was before COVID-19 lockdown, 38.5 of them in this overweight and obese category. In a more, to me, it's not a recent study, but we did a study with my supervisor in the early 2020, just before the pandemic lockdown. 4 out of 10 students were overweight and obese. So what do you think the number, if it is during COVID or post-COVID? I think it's increasing. That's not a good news, and we try to find how to solve this problem. Remember, during the coronavirus lockdown, the COVID-19 lockdown, there are severe sedentary, physically inactive, energy imbalance, eat more, exercise less, moving less, and thus weight gain might occur to some individual. Majority of us, I would like to say. Right. How to manage body weight? There are actually 3 keys of managing body weight. The first one, good nutrition. You eat well, you can manage your body weight, or you can get the normal BMI or even a fit BMI. So it's very easy to say, when you eat well, yes, you may get the body weight you want. But the second one, the more active you are, the more calorie you burn, then the better you can control your body weight. I would like to say the third one, the third keys of managing body weight, behavioral modification, is the least popular. Okay, so there are a therapy or approach called acceptance and commitment therapy. It is actually the 3rd generation of cognitive behavioral approach to target avoidance of individuals when experiencing difficult thoughts and feelings. This therapy It targets to develop psychological flexibility by employing acceptance and mindfulness processes, commitment, and behavioral changes when dealing with weight-related issue. Simple says like this: those with overweight or obese, they tend to have a low self-esteem. They feel intimidated when the people are pointing out, you are fat, ataupun, sorry, or admitting themselves, I am fat. That statement is too painful to be admitted. So with this therapy, we are trying to target for the individual with excess of body weight to make peace of that statement instead of, okay, let's for example, Pat, you look you have gain weight, yeah. All right, I'm working on it, no problem in that. So that's where the psychological flexibility has occurred. But in the terms of body weight issue, it's likely majority of individual with this category, they are not happy to hear that statement. So this is the purpose of this therapy. So ACT actually consists of 6 psychological processes where there are 6 elements, I would like to say. The first element is the present moment, okay? Be here now. So are you here now? Your soul and your mind and your physical is here. So it's better to make a better decision if you are at the moment of awareness. Second one is value. Know what matters. Values of every one of us has different value. But when we talk about how to dealing with body weight issue, value is like, okay, I give you an example, self-love. How do I act on the self-love value? So that's where this therapy trying to highlight or trying to figure out what's the best value of that individual in dealing with their body weight issue. The third one is committed action. Be committed to what you want to make it work. And the fourth, self as context, pure awareness of yourself. The fifth, diffusion, okay, to unattach with difficult thoughts related to the negative statement. For example, just now, I am fat. That's where we want to cultivate the individual not attached to that negative statement anymore. And the last but not least, acceptance, to be open up, to know what to do, to embrace it, and to empower the individual to know what to be taken to manage the body weight. So this therapy has been effectively reduced weight stigma and health-related behavior in this overweight and obese individual. So the problem is this research is trying to solve a problem where weight loss, I would like to support, I would like to agree, weight loss is truly highly evidenced with a high level of physical activity. No doubt in that. However, the psychological approach for weight loss is still infancy in Malaysia. Although, ladies and gentlemen, it is widely accepted elsewhere. In the Western country, the psychological approach is not something new. That's why this research, the purpose of it, to combine the behavioral therapy or psychological approach plus the structured exercise in terms of to improve weight-related psychological difficulties and body weight in this overweight or obese individual. So we want to make them to be more flexible and to be more open up instead of dealing or struggling with the thoughts of being excess of body weight. Yep. So the methods of this study, we recruited 102 overweight participants from 2 universities, students in Sarawak. And we divide into 2 groups, a randomized one, the ACT group who received the therapy alone, and the ATEX group, therapy plus the exercise. So the BMI, we followed the Asian cut-off point, right? I would like to suggest to those who Asian, Malaysian, please do, when you try to categorize yourself which BMI you are in, which category, please look at the Asian cut-off point because majority or most people, they like to refer to the global one. The overweight for Asian cut-off point is 23 kilogram per meter square, but the global is 25 and above kilogram per meter square. So they will be like overestimating or underestimating your category of body weight. So that's not advisable in our population. And then when we have recruited, we have to ensure that there is no orthopedic injury, because they have to undergo physical exercise, and then there are no medication, no participating in other supervised program, either is exercise or behavioral intervention. So the participants are from various background. They are Malay, Sarawak, Sabah, Chinese, and Indian. They are from various study levels too, with male and female. So all of them in the category of, I would like to say, the mean falls in the category of obese. Yep. So these are the two measures being utilized in the study. Yes, as I mentioned before, the BMI, we use cutoff point because we want it to really specific to our population. And then the second one, the instrument of acceptance and action questionnaire for weight-related difficulties. Revised version is actually the revised version being conducted in our study. It has been published in 2021 because this item is very specific to the population of students. And the lower score means more flexible. So that's where we want to target. To target the participant, they reduce in their difficulties of weight-related. So it is our 12-week study, ladies and gentlemen, where weekly for ACT session, so one session per week for the therapy, and then 3 times per week for exercise program. It happens in 6 weeks, and then in the week 6 to week 12, it's a follow-up. So meaning that the intervention ended with week 6, but still we gather the measurement baseline week 6 and week 12 to see how it improved or how it reduced. So it was conducted in the very COVID-19 pandemic, March 2021 to July. Okay, right. So I'm sharing now these 2 significant intervention group, or what's the element of this experimental. So the ACT content, it consists of all the elements of ACT just now, from the values up to the acceptance, but each session, it targets one value or one component. So it all related to how to deal with the body weight issue, how to manage the exercise and food, the relationship with food and relationship with exercise, how it responds, how to empower themselves to see it or to detach with the feelings of negative thoughts about it. Okay, it was adapted from these 2 prominent studies in 2009 and 2011, and being adapted and revised to meet the objective of the study. So how about ATACS? ATACS is the combination. It's very simple. It combines those participants in this group, ATACS. It combines the ACT therapy, the therapy, and plus the structured exercise. So the structured exercise program is following the guideline from WHO, where a minimum of 150 minutes per week for weight loss. So there will be 3 times per week. So each session consists of plus minus 60 minutes. And then they were doing all the major muscle groups with a simple exercise, doable at home, is body weight, and a minimum of 24 hours between session for recovery. They did the session like no more than three days per week. Sorry, no more than 3 days per gap of the session. And all of it were conducted by video conferencing because due to the pandemic, it's somewhat new, but it's somewhat very promising, even though they are doing it at home in front of a laptop or their computer. Okay. So let's talk about what's the findings of this very research. Okay, I'm a numerical person, but I would like to address with the 2 graphs here on the left side. The first graph is the BMI, and the second graph is the weight-related difficulties. Okay, and the blue refers to the ACT group, and the red refers to ATACS. The same goes to the second graph. Both groups reduce dramatically from week 0 to week 6. That was a good news. But as we do the follow-up measurement, we can see ATACS group still reducing in body weight, unlike the ACT group. This is something that somewhat promising, because even though the intervention has ended, they're still improving their body weight. But not saying that the ACT group is not effective, but still the sustainability is something that we as researchers should celebrate to sustain the body weight, right? And same goes to weight-related difficulties. The lower it is, the more flexible. So they had reduced the score from week 0 to week 6, and same phenomena happens to ACT group. They are not really that reducing compared to the ATEX. So I would like to simply interpret that the ATEX group brought a better improvement in the body weight and also the weight-related difficulties. They become more flexible. They become more less struggle in the negative emotion related to the body weight issue. Yeah. So as in the discussion, ladies and gentlemen, in ATEX, weight loss is greater compared to the ACT. They lost up to 7.7% compared to the ACT group 4.3. So it's comparable. Exercise intervention does reduce BMI, obviously, because of calorie burn, the more muscle mass you gain. But the ACT intervention helps it greater. We can see the sustainability in the follow-up. Because we talk about the psychological changes, exercise become habit. It's 6 weeks, 3 times per week, It just maintain the weight management among the participants. Even though the participants in the ACT group, they're not receiving any exercise, but still the behavioral changes helps them to manage the weight. That's the good news of this world of weight management program. And then for the weight-related difficulties, again, ATEX was more effective in reducing because due to the large intervention effect, they scored 2.1, meaning that they score greater, they have a greater effect compared to ACT. Improve weight-related flexibility because exercise promotes pleasant effect and it helps increase self-esteem and more positive body image. So further improvement observed in follow-up indicates also the sustainability effect of ATEX and ACT to the overweight and obese participants. They be more open up and more flexible. So this is where we can say ACT promotes healthy behavior, and weight management was improved by the introduction of exercise in the ACT intervention. So in conclusion, ATEX is the first program that integrates this structured exercise plus the ACT intervention for overweight and obese, and it is effective. Yeah, it responds back to the title of the research. It is effective for weight loss and improving weight-related difficulties. It is highly feasible, I would like to say, because due to the video conferencing, the attendance was super impressive. And then more studies needed to evaluate further the effectiveness of these attacks for weight loss and weight-related difficulties. This is something quite new, and comparison with control group is suggested. But I have the results of this control group actually is waiting for publication and sharing in future. It shows a very impressive results, and the recommendation of study fitness trainers and psychologists can consider adding the element of exercise to the behavioral intervention or vice versa in their weight management program. These two parties should work together how to deal with the body weight issue or how to manage the program of fitness or weight loss. Okay. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, when you resist, persist, when you accept, transform, exercise because you love your body, not because you had it. I'm Patricia from FSL Sarawak. Thank you for listening. So actually, I've published, this paper, part of my PhD work, and then we have published it, and now it's being in press. Sorry, it's not published, it's in press. We're waiting for the paper to release maybe next month. So yeah, so I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patricia, for that informative presentation, and also congratulations for the publication. It is very interesting because I just know that behavior change also can reduce the BMI for obese and overweight person. Okay, so please feel free to ask any question to our presenter, Ms. Patricia. maybe one question from me, Ms. Patricia.
Okay, sure.
For the ACT type, what is the type of exercise being introduced for this program? Is it running or climbing?
All right. Yes. Okay, thank you for that question. So in attacks, the exercise, there's very simple. It was very simple exercise that doable at home. We can say is home exercise, only body weight. This consists of a major muscle group. For example, squats, lunges, plank. Are you familiar with that? Familiar,
Plank.
right? Push-ups, and then the crunches. So all of these targets a major muscle group, meaning that the large muscle group, and they've been being performed in high reps, and we also included the timer exercise, meaning that one exercise of, for example, one squat they perform in 20 seconds, and then in the third set they perform in 30 seconds. So it's doable at home. It's very very significant or very popular in terms in the body weight exercise program. Yep, only that, simple as that. Yeah. Plus, the participants are not really that well versed in exercise. They are not sports science. They are not. I can say they are sedentary population, physically inactive. Even before pandemic, they are still they are in that category. So when I introduce the exercise to them, it's not that hard to understand, because remember during this study was conducted in March to July, somewhere in peak of lockdown. So we learn it through the video conferencing. Last time is something that unusual. I struggle myself how to meet my participants due to this my experimental, but yeah, it produced a great result. There's almost zero, I mean the absence during all the session. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Hope
very
I answer
interesting
you.
actually,
Yeah.
because I'm also using apps to do internet exercise during COVID.
Wow. Yeah.
In fact, we cannot go outside. Okay, we have a question here from maybe point one Juliana. Can you suggest one exercise that can reduce weight quickly?
Ayo. This this question is like, okay, let's me be very very practical, or we have to stand on the what's the actual one happen. There is no shortcut to reach the weight loss. Okay, quickly, and if quick, kalau cepat sangat reduce, I'm also afraid as a trainer, it is fall in the principles of gradually. We have to make it learn is for simple to difficult one. If it happens slowly and gradually, it is more likely to be sustainable. That's the another issue of weight loss journey. When this happens too fast, people tend to highly motivated at first, but then when it doesn't happen anymore, up to after 6 weeks, after 12 weeks, the motivation happen, and then there will be dropout and it bounce back the body weight. That's what we afraid of. So actually the big purpose of why therapy or psychological approach to this exercise program, to ensure that they can sustain for a long term, compared to the short term of 6 weeks and they bounce back. Then it could explain why this number of obese or overweight population not declining from, I think, 10 years. Malaysia always the first in Asia. It's not a good news on that. So yeah. So no exercise can reduce weight quickly. We have to deal with the element of good nutrition and also behavioral changes. Yeah, it's back to the content of my paper. All right. Yeah.
I hope the answer can answer the question. Okay, we have another question for Mr. Kelvin. How long need to practice the exercise per day or per week to have such result?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kelvin. Exercise, yeah, such result. This study of mine, actually, we followed the minimum requirement from WHO, World Health Organization. The minimum requirement is 3 times or 3 sessions per week. doesn't mean you have to do it 3 sessions consecutively. You have to recover between session 2 or 3 days to ensure your body recover, and then you can have another session. That's the minimum requirement. But when we want to see a result of weight loss, there's another element to be included, such as to control the diet, the less energy intake, so that the more you expend for the calorie, the more you burn, so it can theoretically can produce a greater weight loss. So go for minimum is 3 times per week of 150 minutes per week. So kiranya one session is 60 minutes plus minus 1 hour, and moderate intensity. If pocho alone is not enough for that, it's not that intense. It should be more intense than the low intensity. That's why we have a technology. We measure with the smartwatch. It can matter. Oh, I'm at my moderate intensity. That good to go. Spend it for 1 hour. If it is too low, it doesn't produce results. So there's principles of exercise for that. Yep. And sustainable. Go for more than 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and whatever exercise that you love to do, just keep to it. Because the principal exercise, if we ask them to run, they don't like running. So ask them to dance. If they don't like dance, I'm a lover of spinning class. I spin like twice a week because I feel good doing it. So that's why I stick to it. Yeah.
Okay, as long as we have a progress, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, we have another question from Mr. Sharin Sulaiman. Can someone reduce weight without exercise and just focus on dietary on diet?
That's a good question, Mr. Sharin. Yes, someone can reduce weight without exercise and just focus on dietary, because you are playing around with the less energy intake. But make sure when the less energy intake, you spending less energy, it doesn't, I'm not sure what happened, but theoretically it happens. It's just that the muscles is not increasing the strength, and then I'm not sure what's losing in the body composition, because we also struggle with the point of what lose inside. Is it losing the muscle or losing the body fat? If you're losing body fat, that's good news. But if you're losing your muscle, there's somewhat that you should consider. You need exercise so that your muscle increase, your bone mass increase, and then it's good for your health. Yeah, there's many elements to consider. But my answer, yes, but ada benda lain we should see. Apa yang losing, muscle or body fat? Yeah.
So we should consider either we want to lose a muscle or body weight. Okay. So we have another question from Miss Wan Judana. I do IF. I think intermittent fasting. It's work for me, I guess. Can see all baju mengecil. Intermittent fasting is like diet, right? Miss Pat.
Yeah. IF is a new recovery of dieting. I think it's this recent years, not more than 10 years. Research being done, and then it produced a good results. It promotes weight loss. I can see baju mengecil. Okay, that's a good news. Inch loss, we said. It's a diet. It works for you, good, and it works for you too, Mr. Hafiz.
I didn't do intermittent fasting, but my wife have joined group of intermittent fasting.
Yeah,
But see the progress.
yeah, the nutrition manipulation. If
Yeah.
it works for you, then go ahead, because it doesn't work for me, because I cannot eat fasting of 18. They are manipulating the hours of fasting and then eating for 6 hours. I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but it doesn't work for me. But if it is works for you, then go ahead. But make sure you monitor your health and body composition. Body composition, put a weighing scale. You see, how much body fat you have, how much body mass you have. So that's a more important measurement to be considered in, besides looking at the number on the weighing scale alone. What's inner of it? If it is for you, fine. Right. Any more question?
More question? To our
Yeah.
panel? Okay. Maybe we have no questions. Thank you, Ms. Patricia, for the informative Q&A sessions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the webinar today. I would like to express my sincerely gratitude to all speakers for their valuable contributions throughout our provoking presentations. Your expertise has truly enriched our understanding of various subjects. As today we have a modeling and exercise subject. So I would like also to extend my appreciation to all participants for your involvement in this webinar. Your question and engagement have made this event more dynamic and meaningful. Okay, so maybe we can have before we end our session, maybe we can have a session, a photo session together with our panel and our participant. So maybe we can open our camera to have a photo session.
Hi everyone, don't forget to fill in the borang kehadiran, okay?
Yeah, we also attach the borang kehadiran for jam latihan. So okay. 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 Okay, one. Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait. Okay, again, a smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, so that's all for our sessions today. Thank you very much to the our panels and participant and also the organizer. Okay, so that's all for today. So thank you very much. Assalamualaikum and good evening. And
Okay, thank you.
thank you
Thank
all.
you, Arabiu. Thank you all. Thank you, Hafiz. Thank you, Dr. Lee.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good
Thank
rest.
you.